Hello everyone, this is Lada from Astrolada.com, and today I'm here with Psychic Bobbi. Some of you maybe know her from my website, but I wanted to introduce her because she has the most awesome personality. Hello Bobbi.
Lada, how are you, my dear?
Great, finally we've been able to get you online. We tried 3 times and now the
That's
fourth time
right.
is lucky to be able to have.
Yes, we had some technical difficulties, didn't we? But now everything's fine, everything's good. Meant to be. It's meant to be.
Well, I want to present you, Bobbi, and I want you to tell us your story, how you became psychic, and some interesting stories to share about the life of
Yes,
psychic, or
of course.
readings that you've done, maybe advice to give to our viewers. We'll just
Oh,
leave
absolutely.
the
I have
call.
so much to say. Okay, well, first of all, since I'm very, very young, I've always had great sort of heightened intuition, and I've always been able to read people, and it's really my passion. You know, in life we have to have passion. It's very important. And when we have passion, things just come to us. And so I've always loved reading people, and then I would go to my own psychics and they would say to me, oh, when you're older you're going to become a psychic. And I get, you know, what happens is I have auditory, like I hear things from the universe. And I also my best way to read people is by looking at them. That's my best way, because then I get into their energy and I'm able to read their aura, and I'm able to read their energy as well as the tarot cards and the angel cards. So it's not just about cards. And I love my clients, and I love the helping people and healing people. This is, you know, it's sort of almost like psychic thing, shall we say. So I'm very different from the other readers in that respect, because like I can read tarot cards, and you know, you could say to me, okay, pick some cards and you know, we'll go on air and you'll talk about the cards. But that's not really my forte. My forte is talking to the person. That's why when I do a reading, I never do a reading without seeing the person. I always have to see them on Skype time or on Messenger, whatever it is, but without seeing the person, because it's so much more intimate. For me, it's about, you know, the contact. For me, it's about the closeness. For me, it's about the intimacy of being with the person. That's very, very important. And I also feel that, I guess I'll tell my story. You know, about 9 months ago, I was in a very terrible accident and I had a brain injury.
My name is Tere. Sorry. And you had a what? A brain?
I had a brain injury.
Yes.
And what happened to me was I had a massive concussion, and my brain actually moved. It actually changed. And it took me many months to get over, and I'm really perfect and fine now. But it changed me even more. And when I went to a psychic a while back, who is amazing, like a medium, like she speaks to, you know, the angels and spirits and so on. And she saw that I, through the concussion, I actually evolved even higher. You know, my energy has been raised even higher. I can see more, I can feel more, and I feel that way as well. Like I'm sort of an echelon higher than I was before. So it's really
Many people have some kind of accident and their skills open up, or they appear for
yeah.
the first time for some
And
reason.
that's what happened to me. You know, it's like, I mean, it's not like a near life experience and near death experience. I didn't die, but it's something like that, in terms of I could feel myself being even more evolved and more psychic than I've ever been, ever. And it's amazing. I mean, I just get things, you know, and they come true. Like, you know, about a month ago, I had a client from New York. It was a first time client, because I have many, many repeat calls all the time. And I said to her, I said, you know, there's going to be a death around you. It's not going to affect you. It's not going to affect your family. You're not going to be terribly upset by it, but you're
Yeah.
going to hear about it in 2 or 3 days. She called me back in 4 days. She said, Bobbi, oh my God, my colleague at work died.
Wow.
And
And you
then,
hear that. You hear it like a voice. Someone tells you, you pick it up both ways.
yeah, I do the cards and I do the angel cards, because it's very important for people to know and understand what their angels are saying to them, and what their angels are telling them that they need in their lives, and what's important at the time. And the other thing is that, you know, when I read a person, I always say to them that it's their reading, always, of course, it's not my reading, it's their reading. And I always say that it's from here forward. 5 minutes ago, finished, over, that's done with, that's past.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always forward, 3 months, 6 months. I always go to 1 year, I don't go past a year. And the reason for that is because our life today is so changing.
Yeah.
There's two things that are constant: change and evolution, change and evolution. And we live in such a tumultuous world at the moment that there's so much that can change in our own lives so quickly. You know, it's a very different world we live in from the time that our parents were living and the time that our grandparents were living. It's a much more, anyway, in many ways, you know.
I think we have more free will now because we can really transform something within us and change the direction of our life more, rather than back in the past.
Absolutely, I do. But it takes a lot of work. I do believe that, yes, I do think we have free will, but with the free will comes work. Okay, we have to work hard in this life. We have to work hard. What I mean by that is we have to do, you know, affirmations, and we have to do visualizations. I really believe in that. I'm very strong in prayer. I believe very much in prayer. I'm a huge meditator myself. I meditate every day, twice a day, since I'm 18 and I'm now 65. So it's my whole life I'm meditating, and it really so you
How is it helping you? How is it helping you? I've never been able to meditate, so I'm curious to know what.
It's, well, in my case, we do transcendental meditation. So you have a mantra which is given to you by a meditation professor. I'm not a meditation professor. I'm just a regular meditator. But I have a sound that is specifically designed for my nervous system, for my brain. And you just, you know, you shut your eyes and you go into a space, and it's kind of like, let's say you go into the ocean and you decide to dive into the ocean, and you go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into the ocean. It becomes quieter and quieter and quieter and quieter until it's silent. And when you have silence, you can really think. And when you have silence and you can really think, your soul talks to you. You see? Wow. So I tell my clients, it's very important to, if you're confused, if you're in a situation where you don't know what to do and you're really feeling terrible and you're really feeling awful, you have to stop.
Hello?
Chatter in the head. You have to stop it. Alone, and you have to and just be very still. Listen. That's when your soul speaks to you, and that's when you get answers. When you be quiet. So all of the answers for me come when I meditate, because that's when I'm very quiet. And anybody can do in terms of just be themselves in a nice environment, you know, light a candle, have a nice aromatic smell, and have maybe some flowers, you know, make it nice, make the environment nice around you, and then just close your eyes, try to be silent, try to be quiet to you that way. Or go and learn how to meditate by a meditation professional. There are many people meditate. So many Hollywood movie stars now are meditating. But that's helped me tremendously as well with my psychic work, because it enhances your brain and it makes you very grounded. It's very grounding. So of course we all have problems. You know, my life is not perfect, far from perfect. I have problems, everybody has problems, but I'm able to deal and cope with my problems much easier than somebody else who doesn't meditate, because it's very grounding and it's very centering.
I've never been able to meditate myself. I have lots of Aries, and Aries and it's in the 3rd house of my mind, and Aries is the most active sign, and my mind is total chatter. I totally don't know. I tried probably 100 times with teachers. It never works for me, and I'm sure someone is also as people are writing that they also have problem meditating. So yeah.
Yeah, it could be a problem sometimes, but you know what? In that case, you can just sort of go to a place that you love, go to the water or go to the park or go somewhere that's very soothing for you. That, you know, like people have to find a place that they love, that they feel good in.
Uh-huh.
And in that, and then in that space and in that place, they can sort of find some peace. It's very important to find peace in your heart, very important. But that's part of what I do. You know, I try to help people, to heal people. So it's not just about a reading. It goes much further than that for me. For me, it's about like really getting into a person's soul, helping them and healing them, and um, trying to find ways with their whatever problems they're telling me about, how to find a solution, and not just tell them, oh, it's going to be terrible, or oh, it's going to be bad, or oh, this or oh, that. There's always ways to find, to make things better.
Hello?
Yes.
Everyone is saying that the picture is really bad and you're frozen most of the time. And
Oh my goodness.
hear the voice well. Sorry, I'm just apologizing to everyone, guys, because Bobbi is doing this from her laptop, from her phone, and maybe it's you know, there is some problem there. But we couldn't. We tried 3 or 4 times doing it through the laptop. It just didn't work. So we have to. We want to go. We wanted to go ahead anyway with this interview. So sorry about the quality, but let's get back to what you were saying. It's very interesting.
Is it better if I talk? Is it better if I'm closer up to the phone?
It's just the quality of the internet, I guess. It starts
Oh, what a shame.
so,
And it
yeah.
keeps on freezing. Oh,
Yeah,
that's such a shame.
but yeah, let's carry on anyway, because people at least can hear and listen, because the sound is good.
Okay, okay. Well, that's, yeah, the sound is good. Okay. And you know, as we were talking about, you know, me reading people's energies and stuff like that, and I told you about the brain injury and how that really new world in my head as far as being able to read even better. But we were just talking before about, you know, how meditating helps me as well, and it can help anybody, and you can meditate anyway. You can, and if you can't, you can go to a place that you love where you can calm down. It's very important to be able to be quiet. So even if you cannot meditate, and even if the chatter in your head goes on, if you go somewhere like to the water or to the park or somewhere where it's quiet, you can find a way to calm down. And then, like I said, the soul, you get answers to the questions. You get answers to the questions. But what I was saying as well is that when I read a person, I love to help them and to try to heal them, as well as just give a reading. It's for me much more than that, because I really like to get involved with the person. You know, it's just for me a very personal thing as well as a reading.
But what if you see that for someone, something will happen? They will break up in the relationship. There is no coming back together. Or that, for example, they will lose that job they're asking you about. And how are you going to be able to help them then? Or do you just try and calm them down, or tell them when the next good thing is coming?
Well, that's a very good question. But you see, the thing is, you know what? This is the way it works. Before we're born, we have an unconscious talk with God, and we sign a contract, and we have a contract, and it's a life contract. And we can do many things in our life, but in the contract, this is the contract that you made with God. So no matter what you do, it's going to happen anyway. So how many men you go out with, how many men you break up with, or women you go out with, or women you break up with, there's going to be that person that is supposed to be in your life. And it doesn't matter how, when, what, it's going to happen when it's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
So really 75% of our life is the contract, and 25% of our life is choice. So what happens is, when there's a breakup, it's because it's meant to be. It wasn't supposed to happen. If there's a job loss, it's because something better is coming. It's because something else that's better for your soul is coming. We're really in this life to feed our soul. We're really in this life to learn lessons about feeding the soul, about joy and fulfillment and this kind of thing. So if a person is in a relationship that's not working, it's not fulfilling and it's not joyful, therefore out. Better to be alone and learn how to be on your own and do things for yourself until the next person comes who's going to be that much better. Or the job, the same thing with the job. There's always means to learn how to deal with whatever it is in your life that's at the moment you're stuck in or you have a problem with.
Have you seen sometimes, say, someone is in an unhappy relationship, but you see that they have to stay there longer, for example? Do you sometimes see that? Like sometimes, even if both parties are not happy, or one is abusive, or one is taking advantage, that probably it's going to take much longer before they separate because they have to learn further lessons. Have you noticed that sometimes this can also happen?
This can happen sometimes. And in a case like that, that's very difficult because the two people are living in an unhappy state. So, and if it can't be resolved right away, that's when the visualizations and the affirmations and the prayers come in, because the person themselves has to keep themselves really protected, and they have to learn to fulfill themselves, even if they're in a bad relationship. So the only way you can do that is, like, for instance, okay, I'm going to give you an example. I had a client. He got himself into a mess. He got himself into a bad situation, and he was almost maybe having to go to jail or not having to go to jail. And when I read his cards, I told him, there's no way out of this. You're going to jail.
Mm-hmm.
But when you hear the judge, the judge is going to tell you that the sentence is going to be, it's not, it's going to be half of that and then some. And you'll spend half and even less than half. When you're in the jail, you know, and that's exactly what happened. He got a 4-year sentence divided into 2 years and then into 10 months. So altogether it was 10 months. So I was right, absolutely bang on with that. And I sort of walked him through steps. And so through the I mean, that's a tough place to be, but he prayed a lot and he read a lot of books and he did a lot of visualizations about, you know, being out and what he's going to do when he gets out. And he did a lot of affirmations, like, you know, I really believe in that, because that's when you do affirmations, the universe is like a mirror. So however we think and whatever we think is what we're going to get back. So if we think negatively, we're going to have negative. If we think positively, we're going to have positive. It's very true. This is a law of the universe. These are universal laws. So we think. So always, if we're going to think something bad we can attract. You know, it's like the law of attraction.
But what if your contract, like you said, the 75% that it's already going to happen no matter how you think and what you do is going to happen to you? And then how does this play together with what we think we attract?
Well, I meant in a good way. When I said 75%, I meant in a good way. I didn't mean in a bad way. I meant in a good way.
Hello?
If people are going to have, like, I'm talking about things like, say you want to, like, for instance, okay, I can give you a perfect example.
Sorry.
Both my sons became engineers. My oldest son, am I frozen?
Yeah, it's really bad quality. I don't know why, but carry on. Hello?
Now I can't. Oh, okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay. I hope everybody else can too. Sorry. It's the way it's coming. We have choice. Like I was saying, they're both engineers, but my younger son, he took a year off after he finished his engineering, and he had, scholarships and job offers and all of this. And he went to Africa, and he was in an orphanage, and he lived for 4 months in the orphanage. He was teaching and helping the children. And he came home and he said, "We have to have a chat." I said, "Brad, have a seat. What's up?" He said, "Mommy, I can't do engineering. I have to teach, and I have to inspire children." And I said, fantastic, go for it, because that was his passion. That's really what his calling was.
Uh-huh.
So what I'm referring to is when a person is able to really find their calling, like I have really found my calling with readings, with reading people. You found your calling. You're an amazing astrologer, fantastic astrologer.
We're very lucky. It's very rare for a person to find their calling, and it's the biggest blessing.
It is the biggest blessing, and it is very rare, but it does happen. And you know, when it happens, you grab it, you taste it, you hold on to it, you learn, you do everything you can to help yourself, because that's what your calling is. And if a person, you know, doesn't find their calling, well, they have to figure out different things for their happiness and for their joy and for their fulfillment, because really life is for joy and fulfillment, not to be miserable and not to be unhappy. So my thing is that if a person is in a situation where they're in a bad way, get out. Try, even if it's difficult, there's always ways to change. Always. There's always different avenues to go, even if it's really hard and really scary. You take
what if you're the worst case scenario, someone you love has died, and how do you get out of that?
Okay, so it happened to me. My father just died. He was my soulmate. He was my everything. He was my angel. He was my go-to guy. He was my everything. It took me till now. I'm still not over his death, but I talk to him. I have his picture by my bed. I talk to him just like that, as if he's here, you know. I have his things all around so that I can feel that he's around, and I try to pretend that he's around even though he's not around. It's very difficult. That's tough. But you have to go through the process. You just have to go through the process and just say that, well, I mean, personally, my father had a good life. He died. He wasn't young. He was older. But it was just very sudden. So for us, it was very difficult because it was so fast. It wasn't expected. It wasn't something we couldn't even catch our breath. It was like in 3 weeks. All of a sudden, here today, gone tomorrow, you know, this type of thing. Yeah. But for people who lose people, yes, it's very, very, very difficult. And they have to go, you have to go through it. You have to go through the mourning, and you have to go through the of what you're feeling. That's very important. And you get through it that way, because I'm very big on this. If you don't go through whatever it is you're supposed to go through, it's only going to come back and stare you in the face later on. Anything in life that we have that's a challenge, we have to challenge ourselves. If it's a divorce, like you said, if it's a job loss, if it's a breakup, we have to pick ourselves up and dust ourselves off and move on and try our best to find ways to make ourselves as best we can, instead of, you know, bathing in it. And
you know, some people never
understand what I'm saying?
Some people never recover, like they've done something bad, or they lost a child or whatever, and their whole life, I know it's probably the worst thing, but they just stay in depression their whole life. And
So what I say to that, which is really, really important, is I'm very big on mediums. I believe very strongly in mediums, people who have that ability to talk to spirit, to talk to angels. And I think people who lose people should have readings with me. Like I wish I was a medium. I'm not. Unfortunately, I'm not a medium. I get, you know, auditory. I get a lot of messages from heaven, but I can't talk to spirits yet. I'm working on it, but I can't talk to spirits yet. I wish I could. That's one of my big things. I wish I could, but there are those people that can, and they're amazing, and it gives you so much comfort. So people that do lose people, even losing babies or losing children, they should go and talk to a medium. To me, that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Or they should have a reading with somebody who's very compassionate, like myself, who can help them get through it in certain ways, just by supporting them, you know, by saying nice things and by telling them what they could do to help themselves to feel better.
And so
I
just
think
ask
it's
you, according to your psychic abilities and what you've noticed, the purpose of our coming to this earth and this life is what? You said something very positive, which I like, that it's to learn to feel joy. It's not here to suffer lessons and pay off karma, because a lot of people like, oh, this life is torture, I'm just suffering and I'm paying off some bad karma or something. Can you tell us what spirit tells you that this incarnation is for?
this incarnation on this earth that we're living is to learn. It's all about learning. So when we're learning, we have every single encompassing emotion. So in within the learning, we have joy, we have sorrow, we have fear, we have elation, we have all kinds of things, and we have to go through all kinds of these things. But in so doing, what I'm trying to say here is, when we have the fear, or when we have the anger, or when we have something negative, we have to try to work on making that specific emotion positive, because if you stay in that negative emotion, it's always going to stay with you, because like I was saying before, the universe is a mirror, and the universe wants us to be joyful and happy. And if we're going to always stay in that state of negativity, we're always going to have negativity, because the universe doesn't like that. The law of the universe is to try. You have to try in life to change your life. Change and evolution are the most important things in life. Change and evolution. So
learning to transform our negative thoughts and feelings and experiences into positive, that's one of the biggest lessons we're here to do.
Yes, and the thing is that that's one of the biggest lessons, but in order to learn the lesson, you have to definitely go through the feeling, like instead of avoiding it. There are many people on this earth that avoid. They stuff it. They throw it under the rug, and they say, okay, never mind. I'm depressed, and I'm this, and I'm that, and I'm just going to stay depressed, and I'm just going to, let me be this way.
No. Up or drug myself up to take pills.
That's right. And that's not the way to do it. The way to do it is to try to help yourself. You have to try in life to help yourself. You have to try in life to just do the best you can with what you've got, no matter what situation you're in. And everybody has stuff. Everybody. There isn't anybody that gets off on this life scot-free, because we're here to learn. In this incarnation, on this earth, we're here to learn. And so in the learning, sure, we go through all kinds of emotions. And so it's how we cope with what we go through.
So learning to cope better, that's the purpose.
It's how we cope. It's coping, yeah. And that's also where I come in, because I help people to cope with their shit. Excuse the expression. I'm sure you've heard that before, as everybody else has.
So you're not someone who says, oh, everything should be, you should look positive on everything, because then, I mean, the children dying, there are people hungry, there is murder, these things exist, and we can't be Pollyanna about them, but there is a way not to stop our lives.
No, we can't.
And to believe that there is good as well. How would you formulate that?
Well, like for instance, okay, I have a niece, my niece Abby. My niece has her master's in global nutrition. She goes to countries where there's very, very poor people, and she helps the mothers with their children, and she teaches them how to feed, how to grow seeds, and how to learn.
Wow.
How to feed yes. There's all kinds of ways to do things in life. It's just a matter of, we have all different, that's her calling. So there are ways to help. It's just a matter of having hope, of having hope.
So if something bothers you too much, don't get depressed about it. Go and do something about it. If it's the hungry children, what if it's
very strong?
I
have to do something about it.
I can give an example with me when I got very depressed over a couple of years because of conspiracy theories. I was very much into that, and I still believe they exist. and but I just felt no meaning in life, that the dark force controls this world, and that goodness is suppressed, and that that humans are being,
Oh my God.
yeah. And I closed myself at home, and I would not go out, and it's
Wow.
it's but those things, they do exist, pedophilia, satanism, sacrifice of children, all.
So,
But I focus too much on them. I
Lara,
can't do anything about that. So how do you get out of that state?
okay. Well, Lara, I have to ask you, I'm going to bounce that question right back at you. So here you were in this place. How
Yeah.
did you get out of it? How did you get out of it?
Good one. Good
How come
one.
you're not still in that place? How did you get
I discovered astrology and focused on that, and it started giving me a sense
Ah,
that there is a higher plan, that everything is, at least the key most important events are manipulated by the creator or by the higher forces. So if they've allowing this thing to happen, it's part of something we have to learn, and that's what helped me. By seeing that actually things can be predicted through astrology, I saw, okay, things are not random, and there is a pattern, and God has a plan.
yes.
If he's allowing that, maybe this is to awaken our souls. If he is allowing so much suffering, it's to awaken sleeping souls through that suffering, and to awaken the sensitivity of the soul. And I do believe that through suffering, our soul becomes more refined, because whenever I've suffered, after that, I become a kinder person and more gentle to others in the same situation. So that's how I managed to explain it in my head. But yeah, I was looking for answers. I was reading, I was looking. So that's, yeah.
Okay, so you see, but there you go. You were in this dark place and you were looking for answers. So you were trying to help yourself. You were trying to get out of that dark place. You didn't sit in it. You didn't stay in it. And then you found astrology. How did you find astrology? I mean, it's amazing. You found astrology because you were supposed to.
Yeah.
Astrology. That was your calling. And that was something that you found because in your life contract, you were supposed to find that. I'm convinced about that. I'm kind of not reading you, but I know that that's true. I know they're telling me that that's true. You were supposed to go into astrology, and look what's happened out of all of that.
Yeah.
How has completely changed as a result of going into astrology.
And it's almost like sometimes the biggest life crisis lead you to the best thing in your life. Like the biggest crisis that you go through take you to the best thing
in your life. There's no question. That's an amazing answer. That's so true. Of course, naturally, it doesn't happen to everybody. But what I'm saying is that, we are people that have the tools to help other people. Mm-hmm. We are the people that help other people to walk along their paths on this journey, on this earth, in this life. And the other thing I think that's very important is, I know it's difficult if a person is in a very bad situation and they have a very difficult time getting out of it. They have to find a way. Either they find a passion of their own that they just delve into so that they can forget about their stuff at home, and they can, then develop their passion. Having a passion for something is so important. That brings you joy. That brings you fulfillment. That brings you happiness and all kinds of things. And it feeds your soul. It's very, the bottom line is that it's very important for people to have things in their life to feed their soul, whether it's a person, whether it's a husband, whether it's a child, whether it's a job, whether it's a way of thinking, whether it's a course you're taking, whether it's a home you live in. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's something. And so when you have that something that you love, then everything around you can break down, but you have that something that you love, so you hang on to that, and that at least can give you some kind of something, if you can understand where I'm coming from.
Anchor you, yeah, through that tumultuous time. There was one lady that wrote to me recently, and she said, I'm compulsively texting my ex. I can't stop, and he's not answering, but I'm just totally obsessed. And she said what helped her is, instead of texting him, starting to write. And apparently she started writing really well. All the thoughts that were coming into her head, she started writing them, and that's kind of what is taking the obsession from the texting into a passion of hers writing. Sorry, I just wanted to give an example through what you were saying, because it just happened a week ago or something.
You know, I'm very sorry you broke up. So I heard you say that you were texting your ex and he wasn't texting you back, and then it broke up.
Ah, no, not me. It's a client. I'm not texting
client.
my ex.
Oh, okay, I'm so sorry.
My husband just walked in and looked at me. And I was like, no, not me. That was the client, and she was obsessively texting him, but instead she channeled that texting into writing how she was feeling about him, and that started helping her a lot. So turning one obsession into a passion, writing
into another, that was fantastic. That was, yes. So that's sort of what I'm talking about as well. Yes, that's so great that she was able to do that, and she has to continue to do that. She has to continue to do that. The other thing that's very important too sometimes in life is let go, let God. You know, I'm very, very spiritual. I'm a very spiritual person. A lot of people aren't, but I'm one of these people that is. And so I'm really into that sort of let go, let God philosophy, which means whatever comes to you, you know, you have to deal with, and you just try to make it your best, to do your best with it. It's the same topic that I've been over and over again bringing up and bringing back and bringing up and bringing back. So if you have a problem and you keep, you know, going on about it and going over it and going over it and going on about it, it just makes it 10 times worse, and it just explodes it, and it makes, you know, it makes it so much more that much more terrible, and then it becomes, you know, bigger than it is even. So it's so important to sort of keep in check, and sometimes it's better to just let it go, just let it go. Like I said, think about ourselves and what we love and what we like, and focus on what can give us happiness,
what feeds our soul,
regardless of what's going on around us.
Yeah.
I know.
And sometimes
it's a hard thing.
we have to grieve for some time. You can't get out yourself, because maybe that's also a mistake. Someone starts grieving for something and they say, okay, I have to shake it off. I can't stay in this state.
No,
and
you have to grieve. You're 100% right. You have to grieve. But in the grieving, you can still do nice things for yourself in the grieving, like things that might be attractive to you, like lighting a candle, or like putting your most beautiful perfume on and smelling nice perfume, or you know, going somewhere that you love, like a beautiful place that you love, so you can sit and grieve in this beautiful place. So it's still going to help a little bit, you know, like in the grieving of my father, which I still do sometimes. But you know, I love water. That's my thing, water and boats, and I'll go somewhere where there's water, because being a Pisces Aries with a Cancer ascendant, I love water. I'm a real water girl. And so I'll go to the water, because that for me is like heaven. For me, is the soothing, quieting, soft, nice thing.
This healing in astrology, the water signs are the healing signs.
Makes me is what? Healing?
Sorry?
Okay.
I was saying that in astrology, the water signs are called the healing signs. That's why all water signs have very healing energy.
Oh, yes. That's very interesting. Yeah. So, yeah. And then, you know, sometimes I get precise. Like I had a friend of mine who called, and he said, you know, Bobbi, listen, my girlfriend's mother, you know, she's going into a nursing home, and this was in April, and now we're in June. This was last year. And he goes, look, you know, she's got to get into that nursing home. She's got to get into that nursing home. When's she going to get it? And I said, Rube, it's going to happen on June 29th. She's going to get the call, and on June 30th, she's going to be in the nursing home. And he said, oh my God, that's so far away. It's only April. I said, Ruby, I'm sorry. This is where it is. This is what I see. These are the numbers that I get. I am absolute about this. Yeah. And sure enough, she got the call on the 29th of June, and she went in on the 30th of June. to the nursing home because there wasn't a place. There was no place. So
So
that
some
was very
things are really fixed in time, and we can't change them actually. Yeah. So no point to worry and stress anyway. If some things, the important things, are predetermined. No, why should you at all even freak out?
Exactly. It's just I'm saying that, you know, I was bang on. I just saw those numbers and I felt that amount of time and it was right. So I'm just saying that a lot of things that I predict are accurate.
And
I think a lot of that just
days, yeah, very specific times and days of the
yeah.
that you give.
Yeah, yeah.
When are things not accurate? I'm sure you also make mistakes. No one is God knowing everything. And
yes, of course, of course. Well, you know, when you give a general reading, I mean, there's certain things that happen that are right, and then there's certain things that just don't happen maybe in that right time frame. It can happen later or it doesn't happen at all. I mean, we're not God, you know, we're human. So of course everybody in life makes mistakes.
yes, because I've had many times readings when a psychic would tell me something and it would not happen in the time frame they said, but it will happen later. It's something with the time frame always that many psychics say they have problem pinpointing it, you know, in time, but they see the picture.
Well, that's because up in heaven, that's because in the universe, there's no time.
Mm-hmm.
When you die, there's no time. Time goes away. So in the spirit world and in the angel world, there's no time. Time doesn't matter. Time, there's no such thing as time. It's very, on our earth, it's very what we run by, but there's no time in heaven. So when somebody's giving a reading and they're getting whatever they're getting from wherever they're getting it, they can't, you know, time is never something that you can precisely predict. Maybe with astrology you could get a little bit more
Timing, yeah, astrology is for timing, but
because it's really mathematical and it's very geometrical and it's sort of very to the point, whereas doing a reading is different. It's more there's no mathematics involved, so it's.
But even with astrology you can see, I cannot always see, oh, this is the year you're gonna get married. I see 4 or 5 moments when the planets align great for relationships, but the first 3 times the person might not be ready, and something happens, they meet someone, but it just doesn't, you know, or even they can meet the same partner a year before that, a year later during those alignments, and only on the 3rd time it might happen because this is when they're ready, you know, something that they've changed in their mind.
Of course, that's very true. That's very true. The other thing too that I'm really big on is past life. I'm very big on that, on reincarnation.
Oh, tell us. I love
it. Yeah, I really am a strong believer in that. And so that's another reason why, you know, I believe that I mean, a woman can be on the internet and she can be on a site and she can date, you know, 100 guys and nobody's going to work and out. And then, I mean, she can, you know, go to the corner store for the milk with a pound of cream on her face and rollers in her hair and find the guy. She'll drop the milk and he'll be the one to pick it up. And hey, there you go. So it's like, times I really believe very strongly when 2 people connect and they have that very strong attraction and that very strong connection. It's not just because they have that connection and that attraction. It's also because it's a past life thing.
Absolutely.
They were together. It's a karmic thing. They were together in a past life. I'm absolutely sure about that. I'm very into that.
So basically when they're immediate,
that's a big one.
Someone.
So
there is an immediate feeling of attraction or dislike. This is usually a past lifetime. While if something needs time to grow, to really feel, to know how you feel, then it's probably a new life experience. It's a first time experience, but if there is a powerful reaction to someone, you're saying it's past lifetime connection.
Absolutely, yes. And I also believe that, you know, the people that are in our lives that are very important, like our mothers and our fathers, our siblings, our children, our husbands, our best friends, our everybody, you know, our aunts, uncles, everybody that's in our lives, each person's lives, that play important parts for many, many years, that are very stable in the life, very permanent in the life. These are people that we've danced with in many lives, many times, over and over and over again, over and over and over again. This is what I truly believe. And I don't know if you believe in reincarnation.
Oh no, absolutely. I've seen mine. With the mate. I was put under hypnosis, and I was like, "Is that a dream or what is that?" But I saw 3 lives where
it's that interesting. That's absolutely fantastic. That's really cool.
It's
very cool.
And it's so comforting that it's not a one-time experience, that you come all the time, and that you come with a group of people that you're close to, and that and even if you don't find them, sometimes you don't find them in your family first. Sometimes they might have been your enemies in past lifetimes, so you feel so much enmity. But later you find your true family in life, maybe through your community, through your marriage. So sometimes, but you find your crowd and your soul group, as they say. And we've done also, I've got friends who had regression between 2 lifetimes, and they see what happens in between lifetimes. And you go back to your soul group, and you laugh and you joke about the life you had, and you study it with mentors, with mentors, and you prepare it together, and you say, okay, what role shall you play in my life? And your mentors, which are much more evolved beings, they say, well, I suggest that now this soul becomes your competitor, and presses your button. So let's see how you're going to react to that. But it's amazing. They say, like, you have so much fun. It's like preparing a movie, basically. That's how they describe it. And everyone who's been regressed between 2 lifetimes, they say the same story over and over, that it's okay. Everyone's group looks a bit different in different environments, depending what they're most comfortable, but the process is the same. So it's so much, it seems like they're having a ball out there once they cross over.
Wow, that's an amazing, I've never heard of such a thing. That's amazing. That's really amazing. One of the other things, though, I was just thinking while you were saying all of this, is that sometimes in past lives, we bring back to this life some of the stuff that we have from past lives, especially from maybe the last past life we have. We can bring some of those energies into this life ourselves, like, for instance, if there might be something that we're very attracted to, like somebody who's a painter, maybe they were a painter in another life as well. Or if they were a jeweler and they're very detailed and they're able to, really cut the diamonds and this kind of thing, they were that in another life. That is also another realm that we can go into in terms of that. I believe that too, people can have past life regression readings too. I don't do that, but there are people that do past life regression readings, and those are really mind-blowing. They're mind-blowing. They're amazing. Have you ever had a past life regression read?
Yes, and I saw myself 3 lives when I just was living alone and studying. And one was, I was somewhere in Tibet, or not Tibet, more like Thailand, those curly temples. And I was just lonely man living there around sleeping around those temples, abandoned temples, and meditating. Second one, I was in Germany somewhere, and I was like a bit like a witch. I could see missing teeth and really scraggly hair and a lot of mud on my feet. And I was living alone. And
did you actually see this? You saw this, or the person saw this?
No, I was seeing that in a past life regression, and I was basically like someone who is a herb woman who does herbs. I don't know, like a healer with herbs. And the third one, when I was doing astrology, exactly what you said. This is when I was not an astrologer, but my dad had a big library with occult forbidden books, and I was reading on those. But it never went somewhere, but I was just fascinated with it. And and I guess it was a continuation now in this lifetime. Hello?
Wow, you see, that's very interesting. And the same with me. It was different in that I had past life regression done 4 times, but I didn't see things. The person saw who I was, when, how, what. They all said the same things. These were 4 different people in 4 different completely parts of the city who didn't know each other, and which I found fascinating, absolutely fascinating. One told me that, I lived in Paris I lived 6 lives in Paris.
I can imagine. Look at you. You're so like fashionable and kind of, I'm sure you were an entertainer of some sort as well.
Well, it was very interesting because they said that I came back in this life today as an English person, but I really think like a French person, and that in my ways I can be very French, and I love Paris. That's one of my places where I went, where I felt at home. I actually felt like I was at home. I spent a year there, and I was dancing. I'm a dancer also, so I went to school for dance there, and I spent that year there, and for me it was just home,
Wow.
And then and they also told me that I had a past life with my ex-husband in Spain, so I was a little Spanish girl. We all have different, and also it's another thing that's very interesting too. We all have places that we're attracted to in life, like sometimes we have an attraction to really go somewhere, and we have to be there. We have to see it. We have to be there. We can taste it. We can feel it. We want it. And that to me also has to do with either having been in that place in a past life, or having spent a life in that place.
I can give you an example. For me, France is one of those places I didn't like at all. Paris. Every time I would go there, Paris, and I have a line passing there astrologically, which shows the wounded healer, which is Chiron, plus the line of past lifetimes passes there. And every time I would go there, I just felt lonely, like everything is black and white, and I could not, like I was in a black and white movie, and I could not put my finger to it and understand why, even though I had lovely experiences there now, but it was just this feeling inside. And I'm sure something bad must have happened there in the past.
Maybe something bad, I don't know. It's strange. You had that feeling, but you did. So obviously you just didn't connect. You didn't connect with Paris. It was
feeling of physical coldness. I would get physically cold every time I was there. Maybe I died on the streets, poor and hungry or something. And every time I go to Paris, I can never get good food. For some reason, Paris, every restaurant I go, and that's the city of the best food in the world. I always have bad food experiences, so something.
Paris. So Paris isn't for you, Lada. Paris is not for you. Yeah. But I have yet to go to Hawaii. They told me I spent 6 lives in Hawaii. It was Atlantis at one point, and I haven't been there yet, but I will get there one day for sure.
We can do a seminar there or something.
Oh, great.
I'm planning to do
that would be amazing.
Yeah, I'm planning
to do a fantastic idea. That would be really amazing. Have a seminar in Hawaii. The beautiful flowers and the beautiful,
And the energy is so chill there, so calm. And guys, if you like this idea, right? If you're gonna come, we're gonna go with Bobbi, with a few mediums, with astrologers, and all we're gonna do is readings and tapping into energy and getting answers. And
oh my God, that would be amazing. That would really be quite incredible. That would be an incredible journey for all of us, for everybody. Yeah, that's a really great
weekend of healing.
Look what just came out of this. Look what just came out of this. Actually, it's one of my dreams, on my bucket list, to go to Hawaii and to I would love to work there, to do things there, because it's a very spiritual place.
Well, there you go, Bobbi. We'll pack your bags for November. November is the time.
Okay, you got it. You got it. Great. Well, anyway, this was a wonderful, I think, discussion. I just feel bad that everybody couldn't hear me well or see me well. I hope it got better as time progressed.
We could hear you well. It's just the video was cutting off, and people have been saying this conversation was right up our alley. We loved it. It's so interesting. Keep it up. So they really like this discussion, Bobbi, and maybe we should get yourself a nice laptop. And I think Bobbi can do like a weekly show, guys, because she has so many interesting things to say where you can chat with her and communicate. Do write if you find this idea, if you want to see more of Bobbi. And if you want a reading with Bobbi, you can find her on astrolada.com. But I think Bobbi can talk for hours about spiritual topics, and we can discuss, and you can discuss together. So maybe, you know, we're gonna go and proceed to do that, because I love your personality, how positive you are, how bubbly, and also you are not someone
Thank you, Lala.
who also says, oh, everything is only positive. I've had many readings with who just look at the positive, and they turn everything, even like the cars that are just horrible, they would say, oh no, it's something good, don't worry. But I like reality as well, and I like that you have this as well.
Because that's not life. That's not life. You can't sugarcoat and you can't lie. That's not something that people can do. You have to tell the truth, number one, and number two, the truth is life. Life is life. You know, life is what it is. And like I said before, what we're given, we have to just try our best to do what we can with what we're given. We have to learn how to have coping mechanisms for what we're given, because nobody gets off scot-free. Nobody. There isn't, you know, it's interesting. We're all human beings, and human beings look at other human beings, and human beings sometimes can be jealous, sometimes can be envious, sometimes can wish they can be somebody else, or wish they could have what somebody else has, or so on. But that's not good. The best thing is to take what we ourselves as individuals have and make the best with what we've got, because everybody has problems. Everybody has encounters that they're going to come upon and across that they have to deal with, you know, challenges in life. And it's just part of, like you asked, why are we on this earth? To learn. This is why. To learn.
To learn to be happy.
in this incarnation.
To learn to be happy despite of the wrenches thrown at us, and to learn to appreciate life. And I love.
And ever that happens.
Hello?
That's right.
Okay.
So whether it's, yes, that's exactly right. So whether it's a creative outlet, or whether it's listening to music, or whether it's going out dancing, or whether it's going to the beach, like just having fun. The other thing is fun. I know it sounds crazy, but you know what? Sometimes we have to just let loose. We have to just have fun. We have to just play like when we were kids.
But what's the way of having fun is to get drunk, and you know, because people can
hey, sometimes that's not so bad. Getting drunk can be fun too, once in a while, or even more than that.
Look at the French.
I mean, we're not talking about alcohol. We're not talking about alcoholic here. We're just talking about having a good time, right?
Yes.
Right.
Well, thank you so much, Bobbi. What a lovely personality, and how positive you are. I really love talking to you.
Pleasure. It was just great, Lada. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone, for being with us here. And you can write also below us, if you have interesting questions for us, maybe for the next time we have an interview with Bobbi, we'll mention them and answer them. So I just wanted to make an introduction first today, and we'll probably do later on Q&As with Bobbi, even short readings for people. So we'll do all that. So thank you so much. And I will see you guys tomorrow personally with your weekly horoscope, while Bobbi will come very soon again on the show.
Thank you, Lada.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.